Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session. If you were here yesterday for our awards workshop, thank you for joining that. And I hope you were able to take away something like some sort of good information from that. Um, I'm going to give a quick intro. And if you were here yesterday, you probably already heard it. But basically, I'm the business captain for the Robostangs, and my name is Thunvi. I'm going to start off by giving a quick background information about our team. We're the Robostangs, and our team number is 548. We're from Michigan, and we've been impact winners for our districts and states level pretty consistently for the past couple of years. And through these workshops, our goal is to really take what we know and what we've learned over the past couple of years and give it to some of the other FRC teams. So hopefully they can take what we've learned and implement it in your teams. One thing that I ask is if you could all turn on your cameras to make this workshop a bit more engaging, that would be perfect. And I hope you can stay in contact with us throughout the next couple of years so we can talk to you more about initiatives, or if you have any questions like as we go in this season, we would love to answer them. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Kian, who's going to be leading this workshop. He is also our finance lead. So really excited to have you all here, and I'll hand it off right now.
Hi everyone. Welcome to today's workshop, Fundraising and Sponsorship 101. Again, my name is Kian. I am the finance lead for the upcoming season. And today we also have Shravya with us. Shravya, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name's Shravya and I'm a part of the finance team.
Yeah. So, today we'll be covering a few things. And before we get started with that, during the meeting, if you have any technical problems or any questions that might arise, feel free to drop them in the chat box. And one of our member will help you. And for questions, we'll answer them all at the end. Thank you. So today we'll be covering four things. So first is acquiring new sponsors. Second is maintaining relations. Third is fundraising, and fourth is other types of fundings. So first is sponsorship, which is what everyone's going to get to. So for us, we rely on our parents for funding. So we often send an email at the beginning of every season asking if parents might be able to send an email to the companies asking for a possible grant or sponsorship to the company. So on the right, we have attached an example of last year, So we simply first state like the progress that our team is making and the events that our team has. And then second is how our team is funded, and that is usually through sponsorships and student fundraising. And then third is a call to action, and basically we are asking them to send an email to their HR. It could just be a brief few paragraph or sentences. And then we also attach the contact information for our team so that if the company is interested, they can contact us back right away. And then with that, we also attach like our team stats season newsletter, which we'll cover later, and like reasons why the company might want to sponsor us. And then for smaller teams, if your team doesn't have a lot of students or members, you could also reach out to the companies at competitions and build relations through there instead if like your company doesn't have a lot of parents who work in major companies. All right. So after you contact them, what to do after? So if the company is interested, make sure to reach out right away. So make sure that they still have that information in mind and make sure to save the parents and company's contact information in a spreadsheet. This is important because if your team, if that company has an application, they will require the parents' contact information. So make sure to save those. And for any problems that might arise, or in case you want to keep in touch with the sponsors, this spreadsheet would be really helpful for that. And then what to do if the company's not interested. That is totally okay. If you have the parents' contact information, if possible, save them in case they might be interested next year. So make sure to create a spreadsheet of all your contact informations, and this will be much easier through your progress. All right. Next is incentivizing sponsorship. So there are two main benefits of sponsoring a team. So the first reason is advertisement, especially for companies who are not STEM related. And this applies to a lot of more local companies and smaller companies. So when the companies are not STEM related, they want to both have a community outreach, like they want to be more involved in the community while also be able to have a name for themselves. So for example, our team places our sponsors logos on our shirts, robots, banners, and this essentially give um, a sense of advertisement for them and for future recruitment as well. So a lot of more STEM related companies, such as major car companies like GM, Ford, will sponsor robotics team in order to build like skills that can be later utilized in their own companies. So a lot of robotics kids will eventually land in their companies. So by investing in the team, they would be investing in their future recruitment pool and their future skill sets. So make sure to highlight this in all of your sponsor application in emails. Make sure that we know that their funding will help these students and build a better future. All right, so a lot of major companies will also require applications in order to determine their interest in us. And some examples of the questions that might be asked includes why should we sponsor your team? So these questions are almost on all of the applications, so make sure to remember these information. So why should we sponsor your team? So a lot of companies' website will have a section that says about us and about our foundings, and a lot of it will include their values and their interests. So make sure to research more about that company, find out about their interests and reasons why they might want to sponsor a team. And with that, blend in all of those company mission and motivation into your answer. Um, and then the second question that could be asked would be, how would this funding help your team? So for this question, try to specify all the projects that the funding would help. For example, if like the team needs new motors, batteries, wood, try to list them all. This creates like an open mind concept where the company will know what we're doing with the money and understand more about the team. And then if your team also do a lot of outreach events, make sure to list that too. The companies want to invest in something bigger, like something that would help the community dramatically. So if you're also listing that you're helping the community, that is going to be a major part um in their interest. And those are the two major questions that's going to be asked. And then some other smaller questions that might be asked include how many members are in your organization, list all your awards, email or contact the parent or mentor who works at the team on the team. So make sure to have all of those information set when you're doing the application. And these applications usually have a deadline of 1 to 2 weeks. So make sure to be ready with all your information and edit them in time. And then a note for that, most sponsors do not automatically renew each year. So for example, GM's application must be reapplied for every season. And then our major sponsors. So these are our major sponsors, and a lot of these sponsors usually invest in FRC teams. So these might be your highest have the highest chance of success if you were going to apply for them. So our major sponsors include GM, Ford, which Ford no longer does the FRC grant. So, and then we also have Danlaw, Auto Kineton, Bosch, Siemens, and Electromatics. And these all gives more than $1,000, with GM being our biggest sponsors. All right. Another major way that you can get funding is through a state grant. And for us, we have the Michigan grant. Our grant, you can see more details on the QR code on the above on the right side. But basically, Michigan has a grant named 99H Competitive Robotics Competition Grant Program, where Michigan wants to basically invest in students. Michigan is like a major car companies state, so by investing in robotics team, it will basically help the economy better. And for us, we get about $6,000 from this grant alone. So this is a major grant. And similar grants might be available in other states, but this is more specific to Michigan. So how to apply? Well, first, the funding will depend if your school is public or private. So they have dedications to each specific school type. And then also for us, the team cannot directly apply since it must be applied through a school portal. So instead, ask the school to apply for the team. And if the, the school needs more information, you can send them this link. It should lead to here, and it will have all of the information about like public school breakdown, non-public school breakdown, and more informations about how to apply and what the grant is about. All right, so I'll give you a few seconds to scan that if you need to. Our next section is maintaining relations. Um, so how to maintain relations. So there's two ways to do this. First is invite them to meetings. So if possible, invite like the companies for a tour of the workshop, show them the robots and what their funding is used for. This is important to the company since they want to know what's happening with their funding. Additionally, you can ask them to hold presentations about their work and have workshops in the team. Again, a lot of these companies' funding is to invest in their future recruitment pool and their future company skill sets. So by holding these workshops, it would align with their values. So not only will you also be showing interest in their companies, but you're also producing an educational experience for the team. And then the second way to maintain relations is sending newsletter. So these season newsletter include informations about what is also happening within the team and what projects we have going on. And for example, for us, we send out one newsletter after the off season and one after our build season. So an example can be viewed in this QR code. So this is our previous season newsletter. So first we got like an intro page with the team's picture. Then we have a brief sections about what competition we're going in. And for example, last year was Crescendo. We would explain what is the competition Crescendo about and how does it work and things like that. And also give a brief introduction of what is happening within the team and the awards that we won. For example, how we qualify for competitions. Some sponsors might not have enough time to go through all of the newsletter. So this is an excellent way to concise all of your points and get the information across. Then after that, we'll have brief sections about each subgroups. For example, we have a paragraph about inreach and outreach, another about branding, and basically through this newsletter, we're just giving small snippets of what's happening within our team in each subgroup. And then, for example, build, we have about how we qualified and how we ranked in state championship. And yeah, and then at the end, make sure to sum it all up in the conclusion paragraph. It doesn't have to be long, and it is an excellent way to keep in touch with your sponsors. So, as previously stated, we have an introduction place where we introduce the season, what the robot is supposed to do, etc. And then we have a short section about updates, about what each subgroup is doing within the team. And then at the end, we have a conclusion where we sum up all important events and awards. And we didn't have the event date in that one, but a lot of our other season newsletter does. So make sure to attach events dates for the sponsors to come and watch at the competition, and also make sure to thank them for their support at the end too. So if you want to take a look at the newsletters for later, I'll give you a few seconds to scan the QR code on the bottom left. It should take you to that newsletter. So our third section is fundraising. So a small portion of our funding comes from fundraising, but most of our money comes from sponsorship. But fundraising, even though it's not a lot, it is still an excellent way to get your students involved in the team, also your community as well, since you can try to get new robotics members into the team as well. And then some ideas that our team came up with this year includes bake sales, selling other types of craft. For example, one club at our school sold a lot of these handcrafted yarn beads, and that could be an excellent way to get more money. We also use the Kroger script card, which we'll cover very soon, and then we also recycle our old robots. So a bake sale. This is how we did our bake sale. So first we brainstorm about what we can sell and who can donate goods. During this phase, also try to set prices and dates for the event. For our school, we have to register with the school office for what date we want to do the bake sale, as there can be multiple bake sales that's happening at that date. So make sure to check with your school. Also spread the word about the bake sale after you finish planning it. Spread the date of the bake sale through social media, flyers, and school weekly email or newsletter if your school has it. For us, our school has two main ways of communications, and that is first through the weekly newsletter that's sent out every Friday. So you could ask the school to include the bake sale on that one. And then our school also has a Twitter account. Also, our school also has a new daily news. So through those, you can not only reach out to the students, but also to the parents who might be the one giving money for the students to buy the goods. And then also during the bake sale, try to involve the community and try to attract new potential students. For us, we had a posters of detailing of what we do and what's our projects and how the bake sale would go into these projects. And then we also gave out pins and bracelet to attract new members and get our community more involved with it. And additionally, you can advertise during the bake sale as well. You can ask members to get their friends to buy goods, or you can also ask the school office to make the announcement of the bake sale. And then also, just a quick note, we make about $220 on that project. And then another major fundraising is through the Kroger Script program, more known as Kroger Community Rewards now. So the Kroger Script program is known is a program where Kroger donates a small portion of their sales to a local organization based on the parents' daily purchases. So how to apply? Well, for organization, a tax exemption form and an application form must be completed and mailed to Kroger's corporate office. So if you want to apply, you can view on that QR code on the left right here that says for organizations. And um, so that form will look like this, where it says it highlights all of the steps that's needed to be enrolled in this program. So it says enrollment application, read and sign term and conditions, and attach a 501c3 letter of determination or pre-printed 99 form. So this is your essentially your tax exemption form. And for us, we don't have a tax exemption through the IRS, the 501c3, but we have a tax exemption form from our state. So either one should work. Yeah. And then after you completed all of these steps, make sure to mail them to Kroger corporate office. And the address should be right here. So this documents highlight more about how to earn, how to register your organizations. And as you can see, like the form itself is not that long. You would just have to fill out some basic informations and then sign and then mail that in. And it also has a FAQ here if you want to learn more about how to get your money, how when Kroger will send money to your organizations and things like that. And then for parents, we rely on parents in order to participate in this program. Essentially, all the parents purchase, a small portion of the parents purchase will go back to our team, and it's essentially like a cashback program. So for parents, parents must have the Kroger Shopper cards in order to participate in this program. And to activate it is very simple. Parents can just sign into their digital account and link the organization name to their card. So more information can be viewed in the QR code on the right that's marked as for parents right here. So if you wanted to go in there, the QR code, it will just have a basic information about how it works, like create a digital account, link your card to an organization. So again, make sure to remember this name if you can't scan the QR code. Is Kroger Community Rewards. And then down here, you can also have the options to link to Sharper cards, and that's for parents, or set up the organization right here, which will take you to that form. So, essentially, this program doesn't cost anything and is, I think, very worth it to do. As we earn about $450 from the program per season. And essentially, we don't really do anything um, for this program after we applied, and it's a really easy way to earn money. All right, so to our last sections of today's meeting is other types of sponsorship. So other possible fundings can include software. So a lot of CAD program or programming software might require a subscription, and you can simply ask the companies for a potential sponsorship for free softwares. This does not really cost the companies anything, and it is a great way to save some money on the budget. So some companies that can be contacted include Outer, Autodesk, and SolidWorks. And then another possible funding is non-monetary. So sponsors can give other goods that would benefit their companies, especially the more smaller and local business. This can include gift cards, company products, which can be later used for a team auction. And then another possible funding is from local business. Some local business, for example, a lot of coffee shops within our area focus on the community around them. So if you look at the company's Instagram or website, you can sometimes see that they are trying to give back to the community. So you can look at the city's website for a list of all the companies and restaurants in your city, and we can try to contact them. So for local business, this is how we did it last year. So first we looked at the city database and we looked at the city's website for all contact informations. And then we organized it in a spreadsheet and divided it up among our members to call them. And after we contact them, if they're interested, we send a follow-up email that is pre-written, or set up an in-person meeting where you can provide them with more information and show them what their funding would be used for, and make sure to attach a lot of pictures as well. And then for this project, make sure to not get discouraged. Only 2 out of 3 out of 100 might be interested. So don't be discouraged if they are not if they say no. And for us, the project was not very successful, but it might work for you. We got about 2 or 3 that was interested, but none that actually became our sponsors. So and then one last important note before this presentation ends is to keep track of all your expenses. So keep track of all of your transactions and expenses during the year, and create a budget for every single project within the year. This is an excellent way to help your team maximize its funding and be more organized, and being more known to what the money is used for. And programs that we have used so far has been Quicken. However, Quicken usually only let one devices be used, so it might be a limitations if your subgroup has more than one members. We also recently used Zero. That worked out well, except that we couldn't really put all our funding into a budget sheet that we wanted. It kept track in monthly periods instead of yearly periods like we want. And then right now we are using Google for both our budget sheet and to keep track of our expenses. And if you want to learn more about this, feel free to contact us and we might host another workshop in the future. All right, that's it for our presentation. Do you have any questions so far? Also, for our teams that join later, if you guys can, please fill in that attendance form on the bottom left. And then if you want to review this later, I can also send in the presentation at the end as well. Okay. Does anyone have any questions so far? Anything like that? Feel free to unmute.
Hi, Kian. Mr. Ashton from 9751. You mentioned in the beginning that you are the lead of this subgroup for the upcoming year. So I was just curious, at what point in the year does your team decide on who will fill what roles? And then along with that, are you doing in-person meetings during the summer?
Yeah, so our team decides on a lead at the about June, when our seniors leave school, and basically we have a committee where we choose the best candidate. So I joined last year, so I got to experience a lot of the projects, and then after that, we're able to determine how how well we did in the team and if we're fit to be in like a lead position.
You're doing some kind of an application process? What's your process for deciding who's leading your different
Yeah.
sub teams?
So we have two applications basically. One is a Google form of that lists out all of the projects that you have done within the year and like what are the major things that you contributed within the team. And then our second thing that we have to do is a speech to all of our team about like why we're fit for the team and what we would do for the team. And then both the team will decide through a vote and also the previous year leads will also decide who might be best. And then those are taken together and determine who will take the lead position.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. So this is our Robostangs workshop schedule for the upcoming week. If you are interested in any of these workshops, feel free to join them. They're open to everyone. So I'll also send out the um, presentation link real quick. I don't know if Tanvi, do you have anything to add on so far?
I don't really have anything to add specifically. I want to maybe highlight the sponsorship applications. That's like a really big way for your team to get new sponsors. There's a lot of I know there's a lot of companies that we hadn't mentioned in this presentation that also do specific FIRST grants. And another thing you might want to look at when you're looking for grant opportunities and sponsorship opportunities is I know we talked about Michigan grant, but for all the other attendees from other states, you might want to look at related fields if FIRST isn't as popular in your state, like STEM grants, technology education grants, science education grants. Anything in that realm is applicable for your team. So just kind of taking ownership of all of the fields that you guys do and all of the things you do and using that to target for where you're applying to and which grants you're applying to. You really want to think out of the box for this because getting money is kind of hard, but you'll get there. Like you just apply to as many things as you can, and hopefully you got to just hope that one of them sticks. So that's kind of all I had to add.
Okay, thanks for doing this. I'm just wondering, like, what would you say in terms of your overall team budget? Like, what percentage of your budget, the funding that you have each year, um, comes from sponsorships compared to like, what you guys target fee or something like that?
I would say around 30% is from sponsorships. Yes. Kian, did you have a better estimate?
I think actually most of our funding comes from sponsorship. And then we also have a lot from outreach opportunity outreach workshops. So maybe more like 40% of our income comes from sponsorship. Um, maybe more like 30% comes from outreach, 20 to 30%, and then the rest is from other types of grant through the schools and our fundraising projects.
No, thank you for that. And I know in Michigan, as you guys said, you guys have the state, provide the grants to the teams. So as a result, do the students or families ever have to pay any kind of annual membership fees to be on the team or annual participation fees?
So we do
Yeah, so
$300. Sorry, you can go ahead and answer it, Kian.
sorry. Yeah, we do charge each members about $300 per year. So that is also another major part of our income. And yeah, I don't know if Tanvi, do you have anything else to add onto that?
No, you covered it. Yes, so we have a membership fee for each student that joins on our team. And that also covers some of our costs as well.
Thank you. Great question. Great answers.
So you just mentioned that a significant portion of your fundraising comes from some of the outreach things that you do. Are you going to be going into more detail about that in tomorrow's workshop then?
Yes, so we'll cover a lot more about how you can get some fundraising from your outreach events and how you can bring in new ideas and bring in different aspects of outreach into your team as well for tomorrow. But if you had any like specific questions, I'm happy to answer them right now.
Do you guys have
Um,
any? Oh,
sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
Do you have any like before season like planning, I guess like documents on like organization for the team? Like I know you said the monthly expenses, but any like prior to sponsorships and stuff?
So before all of our seasons, we usually prepare a sponsor app, like a sponsor like interest form, basically that highlights all of our recent stats and all of our recent awards and things like that. And then during sponsors emails and applications, we usually send that document in. But then we also usually research for new companies, but that is basically the extent that we do during the summer. We also do a season newsletter during the summer and like try to send it out. So that's one other thing that you can do.
Thank you.
Oh, also one quick note to that, we also do prepare our budget sheet for the next year during the summer as well. So if you're trying to have new things to do during the summer, that's one thing you can do as well. Also, just a quick note to the previous questions about the outreach fundings. So just note that some of the outreach funding will have to go back into the outreach events itself. So that funding is more specific to outreach events and in-reach events rather than to the robots. So a little portion of it can go to the robots, but a lot of it will have to go back to the actual workshop itself.